Never. What if there were a day on your calendar marked never? Like, when are you going to organize your closet? Or when are you going to write that book? When are you going to break up with that friend? When are you going to fill in the blank? What are things that cause you stress or anxiety or unnecessary longing or fear that could be positive or negative, right? What about things that you want to do, but if you're true to yourself, you think, I'm never going to do them? Will I ever write a screenplay? I think in my 20s I thought I would, but now, no, I'm never going to do that. Some of this stems from coming home from the hospital after my father passed away. And I went into his home office, and on his desk was a stack of papers. I see this so clearly as if it were yesterday. And on that desk were papers, and I thought to myself, the idea or the vision or the realization that I had was that these papers will never be dealt with. Now, you might see it as in a positive light, like I will never have to pay that bill. On the other hand, I will never write that story. I will never finish that book I was reading, or I will never finish that book I was writing. Of course, me, the artist, I think often in terms of creating. What was I creating? Did I start something and not finish? Did I never even start something? What will you never do? And what if today, because today is sort of a day on the calendar, it doesn't actually say the word today, but if you look at a calendar and you know what day it is, then you know that's today. And today is the only day where we can take action. Now, one of the actions could be a decision. And that decision could be that you are coming to the realization or that you accept that some things will never happen. Now, this might sound like I'm giving up or giving in. I had a full discussion recently about giving up or giving in and what the difference was. Giving in this discussion, we seem to think that was sort of I'm giving in to others' demands or external factors. Whereas giving up was something that you intrinsically or internally decided to do or not do. So, what if you gave in to the unseen or secret pressures of not writing that screenplay that you've been hemming and hawing about for years? And you said, you know what? I'm never going to do that. And what if it were a thing that you kind of secretly didn't really necessarily want to do? And so, what if that were off your plate? As I speak these words today, I feel the relief leaving my shoulders. As I think of things that I feel pressured, either intrinsically or extrinsically, either internally or externally, either from me or from others, that I have felt pressured to do. Write a screenplay or write a fiction book. I've written some fiction books. I've dabbled in the idea of writing fiction books again. I'm not going to put that on the never list because it doesn't bug me. But things that, let's see, what bugs me? That's easy. Organizing the closet. When am I going to do it? You know what? Never. You know when I'm finally going to be organized with... I have stuff literally scattered around the world at my sister's, at a friend's in San Francisco, at my sister-in-law's basement. I've got stuff scattered around the world from the multiple places I've lived, and I have, almost like a popcorn trail, I have left items around the world, and with the idea that someday I am going to organize it all and make it into a proper, perfect collection of I don't even know, because you know when that's actually going to happen? Never. It's never going to happen. If my sister happens to be watching this or listening to this podcast episode, she might say, you know what? I think he's right. I think it's never going to happen. And that would relieve the pressure on her and on me and on us to stop worrying about when's it going to happen. It's never going to happen. I think she came to the realization probably more further back than I did. But I'll never completely give up these old things that are memorable or nostalgic. I'm a very nostalgic guy. I'm not a hoarder, but I like to hold on to personal things that have a story. Maybe I think, oh, that'll be in a book someday. That's the artist, that's the creator in me. But when am I gonna take those old letters from who? Where do they come from? Am I really gonna put those together into a fictional story of, I don't know, romance and adventure? I don't know. But what if I put that under the never column and got it off of my plate and got it off of my current list of to-do items and gave me some breathing room to do the things that I want to do today, that I want to do now? Because putting it on the never list gets it off of my current today list. And it relieves that pressure. A little meta note here. It's Thursday. I record a video and an audio podcast every single Thursday. I didn't have the idea about never until about 5 minutes before I hit record. Now, in the opposite realm of never category is frequency. And this is, people ask me, how do I write so many books? How do I record videos? How do I do the podcast for 300 plus episodes? That's like one a week for how many years is that? Years. And it's very simple. Just like never is not on the calendar, Thursday is on the calendar every single week. So let's talk about an action item here. What is on your daily calendar? What is on your weekly calendar and monthly and quarterly and annual? What are the action items there? And are there some that you haven't done in so long that you might as well put them onto the never column and get them off your plate? Get them out of your stress levels. Move them aside so you can focus on what to do today. What is your plan for the next hour? What is your creation plan? What are you going to create today? What are you going to make this week? What will you finish this month, this quarter, this year? Go crazy, even this decade. Compared to those lofty and often rose-colored dreams of what are you going to make in your lifetime? And what if those dreams would be better off in the category of never? I didn't introduce myself. I'm Bradley Charbonneau, and this is the Repossible podcast and YouTube channel, where every single week I do my best to lift you up, to motivate, to inspire. Every single week, I will create something that was in me will come out of me. This gives me immeasurable joy and happiness and meaning and purpose. And that's why I was going to say advise. I don't advise. You can do whatever you want. I can just say that this is what makes me happy. And today, the idea of never relieves some of that weight that's on my shoulders, holding me down for these things that I think I'm supposed to do, whether I thought I should or the world thought I should. Another beauty of this is limits. I'm almost at 10 minutes, and I keep these under 10 minutes because constraint breeds creativity. That's it for this week. I'm Bradley Charbonneau. What are you going to create today?